attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everyone, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today for a really exciting webinar in partnership with Imagine Canada and CharityFocus. My name is Amy Huynh, and I'm the Marketing and Communications Coordinator at CanadaHelps.org. And we're really excited to have you all here and have Diane Ellison here from CharityFocus and Imagine Canada to talk to you all about Imagine Canada's Charity Focus program and what it could do for your charities. Just a few webinar reminders. I know those of you who have joined us before for Canada Helps webinars, these are pretty familiar to you, but those of you who haven't had the pleasure of joining us for a Canada Helps webinar, there's just a few reminders. So you can hear us, but we can't hear you. It's a broadcast webinar, so if you have any questions or have any comments or need to get in touch with Diane or myself during the webinar, just use the questions log here, and you can type a comment or question here, and we'll get it on our end and go through them throughout the webinar. Turn up your computer's volume if you're having trouble hearing us. And for the best webinar experience, we recommend that you close all other applications that are running on your computer because it might slow the advancement of slides and you might kind of get a lag with your broadcast. And yes, the webinar slides will be shared. We always get this question. They will be shared on our SlideShare account, and you will be getting a follow-up email tomorrow in your inboxes about where to find those, the link to the slides. And just wanted to put a face to the name. This is Diane Ellison, Special Advisor to the President and CEO at Imagine Canada, and this is who will be taking you through the webinar today about Imagine Canada's Charity Focus program. So without further ado, I will just pass the controls over to Diane, and she'll take you guys through her webinar. Just a moment while I pass the controls over to her. Thank you, everyone.
Hello everyone, good afternoon or good morning, depending on the end of the country you're calling in from. I am Diane Ellison, and as Amy kindly said, I'm from Imagine Canada. I just want to take a couple of moments to share a few things before we get into the presentation. And the first one is a note of gratitude to Amy and the team at Canada Helps. Marina, the CEO of Canada Helps, and I were chatting at one point, and what we sat there and realized is that this may be something that many of you are either not aware of or have not heard of or have heard of, and sort of in the myriad of information that passes in a day have not had the chance to be able to understand it in any great detail. And we thought it would be nice to be partners to be able to provide this information for you. It is very hard to do a webinar, especially when we're doing monologues. And as I was mentioning to Amy, monologues are not my strength. So what I've asked, and Amy has graciously offered to do, is to make sure that any questions that do come in are surfaced. And by all means, you don't have to wait to the end of the presentation. Interrupt at any time. Actually, on my screen right now, I'm hoping that you can see the slides. Can you, Amy?
Yep. I am able to see them. And I'm sure everyone else
size?
Yes.
It's full size?
Yes.
Okay. Because I cannot see if the questions come in, Amy. I don't have the control panel in front of me, so all I have is a slide. So hopefully that if anyone has any questions, feel free. I have a habit. I like to try and keep as close as I can to the time frame, and actually if we can actually make it shorter and it's appropriate, by all means we'll try and make it as effective use of your time as possible. My first question would be that we did build a poll, and all it requires is that you go to the right-hand side of your screen, and it have you heard?
Oh, sorry, the poll's going to be on their screen. It should be there right now.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah.
If you could let us know, I'd be interested in knowing how many people have heard of Charity Focus. Just go in and click at your leisure. Now, Charity Focus, I'll give you a little bit of a history, and pardon me, I just dropped something on my desk. So we're going to go through a little bit of introduction and the objectives, obviously the history, the data, the key features, and the summary. And the FAQs and the questions are not, as I said, to be kept at the end. They are whenever they pop into your mind, and we'll do our best to answer them as we go.
Sorry to interrupt, Diane. I was just going to interrupt with the poll results. So we have 18% of the people who answered said they have heard of CharityFocus, but 82% say they haven't. So you have a new audience here.
Awesome. And just out of curiosity, sorry, Amy, because I can't see, we're speaking of how many people have joined us so far.
46 people are here today, and 91% of them had voted. So there was a lot of
superb.
Yep.
Very good. Well, excellent. Now, what I must mention is that, as Amy mentioned, this presentation will be shared with all of you. I won't be taking it slide by slide because I do think that walking you through step by step of an application is rather uninteresting, number one. And number two, because you will have the presentation and you'll also have the resources for online help as well as access to our team in Toronto, that when you move to the next step, which would be hopefully using CharityFocus for your various organizations, that you would be able to do it. And I am told, and it is repeatedly told to me by many organizations of any size, that this tool is very, very user-friendly. So let's go back to the objectives of the tool itself. A while back, some of you may have heard of a Bill C-470 that was tabled in the House of Commons, and its intention was to place a ceiling on salaries and a few other elements, but the bulk of it was to place ceilings on salaries and the whole concept of payment and compensation to the organizations in the nonprofit sector, the whole way of governance, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, one of those things that this actually came out of there, because imagine Canada, who is also very lucky to be able to have access to members of the government. We asked them to give us a chance to work as a sector and be able to do things like self-governance. And when I say self-governance, there are a number of tools that exist, and I can certainly chat with you on the other tools, but there are things like the Standards Program, which came out of that whole initiative of self-governance. We have CharityFocus, which we'll go through today. We have another number of initiatives, but the purpose was for us as a sector to sit down and to be able to build the appropriate tools that would help us determine the facts as far as the facts of our revenues, expenses, staffing, etc., be able to demonstrate transparency, allow people to compare one type of charity to another, for example, funders or donors, and ultimately to be able to allow the public to have a window into the sector regardless of the organization. As you probably are also aware, there are a few organizations that insist on ranking charities, and the tool that they often use is administrative costs. Now, because we are an organization, for those of you who don't know who we are, we're an organization ourselves that are a nonprofit organization, but we are there to support the sector across Canada. And whether it's on public policy issues, whether it's on governance, whether it is on research within the sector, I will invite you, for those who haven't had a chance, go check out our website, or you can contact me directly. That's not a problem. But we do have a number of tools, and we are the nonprofit organization for the nonprofit sector, really. We're there to support every organization across Canada. So, to go back to the whole concept of ranking, at some point we saw these numbers coming out, and of course people were, jumping on the bandwagon and thinking this had to be the truth. And we worked very hard to explain to all and sundry that administrative costs are not an appropriate tool to measure organizations, because the vocation of an organization will determine directly its admin costs. If you are serving soup to the homeless, you are going to have a different series of administrative costs than if you are doing education, if you're doing religious, spiritual services, if you are doing policy, influencing policy, regardless of the vocation of what you're doing, if you're arts and culture, obviously you can't just use that. So what ended up happening is we worked with CRA, and as a matter of fact, at the very outset of this, Canada Revenue Agency actually provided some funds for us to be able to build this. So this is the result of consultation with members of the sector, with Revenue Canada, and this is what resulted. So I've just saved you reading a slide because there are organizations, for example, GuideStar, that have similar vocations in other countries. And this was launched officially in February 2012. It says, and rightly so, RBC did help us with this, CRA and TELUS and the RBC Foundation and Synovus. Now, what ended up happening is that we knew that we had to make sure that the data that we were using to populate this tool was pristine in the sense that it is an exact replica and an exact representation of what every organization has put into their T3010. And that is exactly what these numbers are. So if an organization by mistake puts in information in the T3010 that is incorrect, well, sadly, it is what will be reflected in the CharityFocus database, because monthly there is a secure download of the CRA data. Even more reason to be, and I know you all are, very careful with the completion of the T3010. As well within CharityFocus, and we'll get to that in a minute, there are some tools to help you with the whole T3010 completion, etc. Are there any questions to date?
Let me have a look here. Oh, so we have a question from Devika. She's asking, can you be a part of CharityFocus if you are not part of Imagine Canada?
Okay, and it's an excellent question, Jessica, and thank you. Actually, every organization in Canada, all 86,000 of them, are on CharityFocus right now. And the reason is we did a complete download and a complete transference of all the T3010s. So the moment an organization fills out a T3010, you will find it on CharityFocus. And that is one of the reasons when when we were chatting with CanadaHelps that we felt it was very important to bring this to your attention. CharityFocus is a portal, yes, that provides data, but its greatest wealth, in addition to having user-friendly data, and we'll go through that in a minute, is the fact that it allows the organization to personalize its own area. So if you go into Imagine Canada, for example, and you'll see that we're here, but we personalize it. So what is reflected here, there's a portion of it that we've input. You can't play with the numbers, you can't touch the numbers, but certainly when it comes to areas such as any brochures you have, any Twitter feeds, videos, annual reports. Often what I recommend organizations to, and we'll get into one of the front pages in a moment, but one of the things I often recommend to organizations is if you have a letter from your president of the board, chair of the board, often that can also help set the tone, because if people are accessing this, this is almost like a virtual window to who you are as an organization. So the more quickly you go through and you improve or that you personalize that area that is available to you, then the better off you'll be. And it will certainly reflect the tone and the manner of your organization. Does that answer the question? Hopefully?
Yes, I think that answered Devika's question. And we have one other question here from Marcel. He's asking, how is CharityFocus different from the BBB for charities and donors? So I guess Better Business Bureau.
No.
Yeah. So he's asking, how is this different, or is it different, or is it
well, the Better Business Bureau, if and humor me and please, Marcel, feel free to provide any input into the chat box. The Better Business Bureau is an organization that seeks to place information on businesses as reported either by customer comments or by reputation or by financial behavior, etc. This is not meant to provide any grading of any kind of an organization. It is merely a representation of the financials, of the staffing, of the vocation of the organization with a personalization on the front page of who you are.
Okay.
Does that help?
He says you can also get endorsed by BBB if you meet their criteria.
Correct. And
yes.
Okay, and it's a perfect question. We have a program, and first of all, this isn't meant to, this tool is meant to be extremely factual, obviously, with the subtle, like I said earlier, tone and manner of the organization. Mm-hmm. But it is not meant to be an endorsement. There is a program that we have in Imagine Canada, and it's called the Canadian Standards, and that has been built specifically for an accreditation process for organizations who will go through the various steps and processes for accreditation. And that is a process that is peer-to-peer review. It covers every area: financial management, governance, human resources, volunteer management, and fundraising. Mm-hmm. And that has a series and a set of criteria that are required to be able to, for an organization to be accredited. Now, Marcel, if that is something that would interest you, if you just want to leave your information with Amy, it'll be my pleasure to send you a note on that, or I can leave you my email at the end of this, and we can go a little further down this path. CharityFocus is a window based on T3010 information, displayed in a very user-friendly format, with the capacity for each organization to be able to personalize it to their own tone and manner.
All right. That sounds good, and the questions are cleared for now.
Excellent.
Continue.
Well, this is great.
Mm-hmm.
Now you'll see that there is, as I said, here's the front page, and obviously we may as well use ourselves at Imagine Canada, and it's the general knowledge, obviously. And so I will move down to the next slide. As I said, the data is from the T3010, and it is a direct output from that. So as we see here, there are errors that are made. Obviously, it can be. Often in some organizations, it will be a volunteer that will fill out the T3010. So often it is important to be able to support the organization to complete the T3010 in a way that will make it that will make the data correct, etc. And what that allows us to do is to be able to provide an additional tool within the CharityFocus arena which helps people do that. And that tool is called the T3010 QuickPrep. And when you go on the screen, you will see, and you'll see it on the following page, you'll see that it's located just on the top of the web page. And what it allows organizations to do is to input their data, but it actually calculates, so you don't make, addition errors, subtraction errors, whatever. It actually allows you to input the data, input the numbers, and then you can print it, and then you can send it into CRA. To date, there is no way to be able to electronically send a T3010, but it certainly does decrease the amount of errors that may happen and that may be present. And of course, if this is visible to the world, and it is visible to the world, we want to make sure that those numbers are correct. And as you can see here, where the arrow is, you will see that the QuickPrep tool is at the very top. So it is helpful. You'll see beside it as well, if you look beside the arrow, and I don't know if this is clear on everyone's screen, Amy, so please help me with that. There's the T3010, and right beside it there's charity tax tools. Now that is also very helpful for you to know, because they are various tools that are there to help whoever is completing the T3010 and the understanding of the tax rules and the application of certain things. All that data is contained in there as well. So it's an additional tool on top of having the data and the personalization of the organization. It's an additional tool that is there to help. Now, earlier I was saying that there's our ultimate goal is to provide transparency and to help the organizations have that transparency. Often we'll see that people want to understand how one organization is doing versus another. Well, one of the key features is the fact that CharityFocus has a side-by-side view. So if I want to compare, Sorry, did you lose my screen? No?
No, we see your email now, actually. Okay. Oops.
Okay, that's what I was hoping would not happen. But that's okay. Just a moment. Just a moment. There we are. Let's go back to where we were.
Yes, lovely. We see side by side. Yeah.
Excellent. So what you'll see is, for example, if someone wants to compare similar organizations. So there are, I'll use and I don't know who all is on the call, so please excuse me if I haven't managed to find an obscure enough one. But if we're comparing dance troupes, okay, within provinces, for example, we want to know how it's working for the finances and the costs and all the rest of it of dance troupes. Or if we're looking to start an organization, also, we can go in and we can actually compare the organizations, both from a financial perspective. We can find where their revenues are coming from. We can see their staff in segments of the salary levels. Those are equally available. All the information is there. The fundraising, where it comes from. And one of the interesting things is it also allows, external to the sector, with time, it will allow donors to be able to say, well, I'd like to give to someone, for example, let's say is involved with cancer research, and I want to be very specific. I want a cancer research, and I happen to want it located in Toronto. So you can actually go in and pull the organizations to that level of degree. And what's really wonderful is that it allows people that are not normally involved in this type of the sector work, they actually have to think about it. So do they want to give donations to research? Do they want to give donations to accompanying those that are, for example, ill? Do they want to go into education concerning a certain subject? So it allows us to take a look side by side at any size of organization. Any organization that is in CharityFocus can be put side by side. Now, as I was saying earlier, the numbers obviously don't tell the story, and often what can happen is numbers can create at times confusion versus just being I'm not saying it's not transparent, but it can create confusion if people don't understand what's behind it. And we're often suggesting that people take the time to explain a little bit of their vocation. And that is one of the reasons, the story. And I'll use an example, and I won't name the organization, but there are organizations, for example, that have a national coverage, but they have, for example, provincial, I'll say branches or divisions, if I can call it that. So we know very much that if you look at their revenues and their expenses, they're all grouped together, but the donations necessarily are given to, I don't know if you give it in Ontario, but it may go into the national. So one picture is not always telling the full story, and that's why it's important to try and populate those pages that are yours in a way that will allow people to understand your story and keep people in the know and also engaged in there. By the way, just a question, I don't know if there are any francophones on the line, and if that's the case, il me fera plaisir de vous répondre en français. I'm totally bilingual, so there's no problem there. But the documents that you upload remain in the uploaded language that you've chosen. So if you choose to upload it in English, it'll stay in English. The website itself is absolutely bilingual all through it, but the documents that you yourself have uploaded do remain in the language that you've chosen to upload. So now we get into yes.
Sorry, Diane, it's Amy. I have a few questions coming in, so I thought I'd just interrupt you, take a pause right here, and ask them. So we have a question from Magnus or Barbara, and they're asking, how well known is CharityFocus if the general public is the general public using the website, and because they're wondering if updating their info on CharityFocus will increase exposure at all. So I guess they're asking a bit about what the public usage of CharityFocus is.
We do share the information. We have not done a dedicated campaign, and the reason is that until the bulk of the organizations have told their own story, it would be unfair.
Okay.
It's not as well known as we would like, and just to give you a sense of what it takes to actually upload and do this, and I have it on very, very solid recommendations, that it's a grand total of about 20 minutes. It's no more complicated uploading this than attaching something to an email. So as far as the technical aspects of inputting various piece parts like videos or letters from the board or statements, audit statements, whichever, it is very, very simple to do. We realize, and that's one of the things that we're trying to do, is really increase the awareness of this tool, so that people realize that the sooner you go in and you tell your own story, the better off it is. We will not go out to the public. We're not hiding it, but we're not going out to the public and making a mass campaign, because we do want to make sure that you guys have a chance to go in and upload and input, upload and personalize your pages.
Okay, great. I hope that helped, Magnus and Barbara. We have a question here from Peter. He says that he searched their nonprofit on the website, and the data does not include their 2013 information that is on the CRA website. So he's wondering, how often does CharityFocus update the information or the data?
They are normally updated on a monthly basis.
Okay.
If there is a specific situation that is occurring, Peter, by all means, send me the note, and I'll follow up with my colleague in Toronto who's responsible for this, but I'll make sure. But I do know it is on a monthly basis and is uploaded. Now, there may be a delay between the time that it has been sent into CRA. No, if it's on CRA's website, that means they uploaded it. So that's a good point. If there's a question, if you want to send me the name of the organization, and I'll make sure that we follow it up, as well as your address and such. We can make sure that we follow that up for you.
Okay, that's great. So Peter, you can send that along to my email, amyh@canadahelps.org, and I can pass that along to Diane, or you can just enter it into the chat and I'll get it, to the questions log, and I'll get it on this end, and Diane and I can work on that for you. Devika has another question. Does CharityFocus have a donate button for each charity to donate right from this website, or can we add one when we are personalizing? They're just saying that this can make it convenient for a donor who may be doing their research on CharityFocus and decide that they want to donate.
Excellent point. And there is I'm going to have to check that at one point we had a little bit of a technical glitch. Let me get back to you on that, but it's CanadaHelps access. Yeah, it's on here. It goes through CanadaHelps. It doesn't go through well, on your website, all your website information is there. So if somebody clicks on your website, they'll be drawn right to your website, and they can donate in that fashion.
Okay, great. And that's it for now. Please continue on, Diane.
Excellent, thank you. Now, this is where I was referring to a little bit earlier. This is the nuts and bolts of how to complete various pieces. And I'm not sure that this would be serving everyone on the call at this point in time. We do have support staff in place, as well as the manager of this program. And as I said, I am told by many, many sources, and I've spoken with organizations myself, and I am told it is very simple to use. So what I will do is I'll just suggest that once you receive this presentation from Amy, that you go through it, and at the bottom of our website, you will see there's either online support, or you have a phone number as well that you can read, that you can certainly call us to be able to complete this. Because I don't think we want to go through all this, the technical aspects of completing. So these are examples of what the form will look like and the various steps for you to complete it. Now, I said that you can do a lot of things. You can upload pictures, you can do Facebook, you can do all kinds of things on this. And really, it's a lovely way to showcase who you are as an organization, and that's why we felt it was important that we spend that time chatting with you today, to be able to have you take advantage of that opportunity. It's there anyway. it would be much better if you were able to go in and populate it. On a whole, that pretty much actually covers it. So we've got the capacity to have tax tools helping us. We have the calculation capacity with QuickPrep. We have the background information of the various tax information, which is on the charity tax tools. We have the visibility of the organization, which will be populated, or which is populated from CRA information. And then you have the ability to personalize your information in any way you wish. Are there any questions?
We have one here from Mary. So if you guys have any questions right now, Diane has gone through all her slides and would love to have a dialogue with you guys. So if you have any questions or have questions about your profile or anything like that, just send them through now, because Diana has a lot of time now to go through them. We don't have to take up the whole time, but whatever works out. So Mary here has a question. Are organizations listed on CanadaHelps automatically listed on CharityFocus, or do we have to register?
They are automatically, every organization is automatically listed on CharityFocus. The reason is it is a download of all the data in CRA. The piece that is important is you need to register to have access, right? No one else can go in and update your information or transfer your information or change your information. So from that perspective, you do need to register in order to be able to personalize your page.
They need to claim their CharityFocus profile, kind of.
Yes.
Okay. And what are the steps to do that? Do they just go to charityfocus.ca and...
You go into CharityFocus and you will click at the top and it says register, and then you will insert the information, and it is done extremely quickly.
All right. Super. Daniel has a question here. Can we put the logo, our logo, or our link to our CharityFocus page on our own website?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Great. It doesn't seem like any other questions are coming in. Maybe people are just forming them, so I'll give them a few minutes. And while they do that, I'm going to just go through some outro slides with everyone. So thank you for joining us for the webinar today, and we always have more educational and training opportunities through My Charity Connects, which is an educational initiative of CanadaHelps.org, helping charities learn more about technology and resources that can help them further their cause. So if you check out mycharityconnects.org, you can read our blog and sign up for more webinars like these. And here we have a list of upcoming webinars. I'm not sure if any of you have heard of Giving Tuesday, but it's coming up on December 3rd. And basically it's a day of giving back to the community, and a lot of charities and organizations are getting involved with Giving Tuesday to increase philanthropy across Canada. So because of that, we have some webinars coming up on October 29th, the Giving Tuesday Ideas for Your Charity, so things that you can do to simply activate a Giving Tuesday campaign. And then on November 5th, we have Kate Olson from Network for Good talking about how you can some steps towards getting corporate engagement and 5 steps to awesome corporate cause partnerships. And on Tuesday, November 12th, we have Simran Dugan at Stephen Thomas talking about how to build a successful online campaign for Giving Tuesday. So if you want to sign up for any of those and any other future webinars, go to mycharityconnects.org/webinars and sign up for those. And here, I'll just leave this up. So if you have any questions at all, email info@, and they can get that to us, and you can follow us on social media as well. So that I went through that quickly, but there are some more questions, Diane. So Peter is asking about the Grant Connect program. Do you know anything about that? Can you offer any insight?
I do. Grant
Connect
great. Is what used to be called the Canadian Guide to Directory to Foundations, companies and foundations. What it is it's an online database that allows people to research for possible funders. and it identifies and allows you to search by type of funds you need, the vocation. It also is very clear in identifying what foundations or companies fund for which purpose, the time frames, if there are time frames. Some have cutoff times, certain periods of the year where they fund. It also helps show you where they have funded in the past number of years. So you will see and get a sense of the type of vocations that they're very interested in as well. And there's a subscription cost for Grant Connect, but it is separate from obviously CharityFocus. There's no charge anywhere. But by all means, it's a very useful tool. And I think from a funder's perspective, or a person looking for funders, what it does is it saves a great deal of time, and that's very helpful for folks when they're looking for supporters.
Awesome. We also have one more question here from Marcel. He wants to know what are the steps, or what steps should he take if he can't find his charity on the CharityFocus site?
Well, I think that if you want to send us a quick note, Marcel, it'll be my pleasure to look that up. As I said, if the charity is filing a T3010, in theory, it should be on CharityFocus.
Okay.
That information is downloaded once a month. But if there, it takes an exception to make the rules, right? So by all means, forward that to me, and it'll be my pleasure to look into it.
All right. Awesome. So there doesn't seem to be any more questions coming in. It seems to be a little bit of a quiet group this afternoon, but that's okay. I want to take a moment just to thank Diane once again for sparing a bit of our afternoon to go through CharityFocus and show us all the benefits of what it can do for organizations and donors. So thank you so much, Diane, and hopefully you'll be here to do more webinars, maybe about Grant Connect or other programs that Imagine Canada puts forth. And thank you all for attending. I don't know if you want, do you have any other last words you want to say, Diane?
No. Hopefully this was helpful, and hopefully you'll be able to use it. It's a wonderful tool, and it's lovely when organizations are able to showcase who they are. Yes. So that's wonderful.
Great. So everyone have a great rest of the afternoon. Hope to see you at the next webinar. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to email info@, and they'll get that to me or Diane. And have a great afternoon. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.